Well, I don't really know exactly what I'm going to talk about, but I'm just having another one of those days, 'cause you know the whole thing is there's really nothing to be working towards because practically nothing in this world is worth it to me except for the idea of having a family of my own. Um, but that's not something that you can buy, um, or earn, as far as I can tell. Like, it doesn't matter what financial status you are or what kind of person you are. All kinds of people have families. Um, Basically, what seems to matter is if you meet somebody and you get along with them and love them enough that you can have a family with that person. Um, I had a dream the other day where I was in, it was like a boxcar of a train that, like when I was younger, I don't know where the park was, but there was this park that had this train car that wasn't in use anymore, and it was sitting there like on some tracks that were in the middle of this park, like a park for kids. Like it was a real train, like train car, and you couldn't go inside probably because I guess when I thought about it, it's like people would probably graffiti it up and homeless people would probably go in there and do things and stuff like that. It's like you probably couldn't let people go in there. I remember being really disappointed when I was a kid though, not being able to go inside the little train car. But I was thinking about that because I mean, I had a dream where I was inside of this train car, and there was a bunch of kids in there who were like at the park, and I guess I was like, I think I was the only adult there, and I was explaining to them what the park was like when I was a kid, and I was like talking, I guess I was just kind of like showing them around the train, and they were like, "This is so cool," and like I was like, "Yeah, it is. This is so cool," and I remember like looking off to a different area and like talking about how the park had changed because in my dream the landscape was all different and everything. Like it didn't really make physical sense or anything. Um, just kind of more abstract images. But most of the time what it really is there's no guarantee that like having people like us, like we have these dreams of like family or like wife or girlfriend or something like that. For me personally, um I'm really not I'm not saying I haven't been a lustful person in different points in my life, but I'm not a very sexual person. I don't really like to touch people, but I would like to, I guess, have somebody I was comfortable touching. Um, but that's not really like what I've been thinking about mostly like recently is just kind of like I wish that I met somebody where, and it doesn't matter, who it is, like I just want a friend or some friends, people that I can talk with, um, and enjoy talking with, because as it is, I basically enjoy talking to myself and recording my own voice, and that's basically how I do things, whether I've done it on YouTube or on a Discord server or something. Um, it's like preferring having a. I remember one time an autistic person said that they treated their friends more like an audience, than actual friends. And that made me realize that, I mean, I already have known for a long time that I'm not really friends with anybody because I don't really consider people my friend. But the way that I think some of us interact with people, um, I don't know like how what it is exactly that's missing, or like maybe we don't see other people as equals, or like maybe it's a narcissistic thing. Um, I don't know what it is, but it's hard to like because it's hard to have a conversation with people basically. It's hard to have a two-way relationship. But a one-way relationship where you're either like I like certain YouTubers and I can listen to them talk all day and I'm interested by what they're talking about and I like them and I respect them as people. And in a way, I guess I kind of consider them as my friend. Obviously, they're not logically my friend because we're not friends, but I consider them like I like them as much as you would like a friend, and I keep track of these different YouTubers. Um, so in that case, I'm on the receiving end, and if I quiet down, it's because I'm in a parking lot and people are walking by. Okay, I, I just paused the recording for a minute. I don't think I've literally ever seen anyone in my entire time in this town. Like, there's just groups of people walking across the parking lot to the store, and like before I guess it's about to open, or maybe it is open. It must be open, but I've never seen that before. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't remember where I was. Oh yeah, so like I prefer this kind of interaction where I'm either putting something out and somebody else is just receiving it in their own time, or somebody else puts something out, and I like listening to people talk for like 40 minutes. If they're talking about something I find interesting, or even if I just find the other person interesting, even if what they're talking about is boring. Or sometimes, I end up finding a topic kind of interesting because they're talking about it. But I don't think it's really a narcissistic thing. I think it's more of an autistic thing. And I basically have to face this point that I'm probably some type of autism. And it's not the kind of autism that I've seen other people have. And it's not just autism that isolates me from other people. Definitely not. Because there's a lot of autistic people that I know that their social lives are pretty normal. They're just autistic. So, um, but there's something here, like a part of it. There's a lot of things actually. It's not like one thing. There's no like one explanation. Another thing is that I honestly think that, and I don't want to like say this, but I know that I am smarter than at least the vast majority of people that I talk with. Um, and I'm not saying that other people are more knowledgeable about different things, and that there's definitely ways that my intelligence is lacking and my cognitive abilities are lacking, and I'm aware of them. Um, but I'm definitely smarter than a lot of people, and I'm just on a different level than a lot of people. And I remember like last year, early on, I was unhappy, and I thought that part of the problem was that there was so few people my age where I work. But now there's a bunch of people my age where I work, and I'm still not really I'm still basically by myself, and I don't think you can call it my fault, even though it's partly my choice. But the reason it's my choice is because it wouldn't work. Like I can't, I'm not fulfilled by interacting with these people for the most part. Um, there's that one girl, but there's kind of like this. I really I don't want to talk about her. Um, I think it would be awful if I was wrong about. about her, but I think basically the point is I'm fulfilled, or like I enjoy being around her and talking to her. Um, and the truth is that I don't really get anything out of talking to other people. And that doesn't mean that there's not some people I that I don't enjoy. It's just that they're not the people that are physically near me in my life. So I have an online friend who I really like. It's just he has so many friends because he's such an extroverted person and he's so busy in his life that me and him barely ever talk. But me and him kind of check in on each other now and then. And, I like him and I respect him a lot. And I suppose I would consider him my friend. Even though we're not like daily friends, it's more of like a every few months or several months even friends thing. Um, if that makes sense. Have you ever had a relationship like that? And then there's those YouTubers that I like to listen to people. I like people. It occurred to me recently how much of my thinking, how much time I spend thinking about other people. In my own introverted way, I am a people person. It's so strange to say that, but I am a very people focused people focused person. Like so much of my mental energy is thinking about other people, and especially with this I'm sorry for my coughing. There's this job I've been doing a different kind of work at my job for the past few weeks, and it requires me to interact with a lot more people and to kind of do things for other people. And being an INTP, my extroverted feeling inferior has really come out. Um, and it's still INTP inferior feeling, so it's not like anything fantastic, but it's growing a bit, and it's got its own touch to it that other types can't really um, mimic, I guess. But it's a real thing. Like I put all this thought and energy, and I can take actions that are very kind or generous or thoughtful. It's just that I don't typically, I'm not very like out there about it. Uh, I'm a very like reserved, quiet person. Um, but I am like very, very people focused with the things that I think about. And that's why I spend a lot of free time, literally like hours and hours on my weekends and even not the weekends. Like if I have a YouTuber that I'll listen to their videos, um, that are basically audios like these. Um, I made a community post recently where I named a few different guys because I keep thinking about one in particular. This guy called Hammer Otongo. Um, and I've watched or listened to so many of his videos because he's a very relatable person in a lot of ways, and he's a very interesting person. Um, and I just kind of respect his maturity and his intelligence. Um, I just find him interesting, and he's fun to listen to, I guess. So I'm not saying like I would be his friend or anything. I'm just saying I like him, right? Like I like listening to him. I guess he's a character for me. It's like, yeah. Um, I think I know. He said he said it when he talked about his. I don't think that I really. It's wrong for me to bring this up in my audio since he's put it on his own YouTube. But maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just not talk about that. I'll just leave that to his channel. I was gonna talk about something, but I won't do that. Um, Anyway, I don't want to go on too much longer because I do gotta upload this, but I've just been thinking about, like life and people and friendships and things like that because it's harder and harder to see a future where I'm around people that I love. Um, because I'm just really not at the moment. I guess I kind of am, but I do love the people that I work with, and in a way I love my family, and but it's not in the right way that I need emotionally, and they're not people that fulfill me. They're not the presence of these other people aren't it's not satisfying me. Like there's something lacking. And that's a real shame, and that can lead to a lot of really rough times if I dwell on it, which I am dwelling on it all the time. Um, but it's just growing increasingly more obvious to me that I don't want to curse myself with my words. I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. Sorry, I had to say that. I had to quote Michael Scott, but I do believe that we can curse and bless ourselves with our words. So I never want to be too negative or predictive in any negative way about my life. It's just that it's hard to imagine what I'm going to do with my life and where I'm going to be and what kind of relationships I'll have. Um, if it wasn't like an issue of survival and like starving, being homeless doesn't seem like it would be that bad. Just from a lifestyle, it's like if I'm already feeling so alone, like what would be the big deal with not really belonging anywhere? And I know that's like super insensitive and stupid and ignorant to say. It's just like I wonder if I'll ever. Nah, I'm not gonna finish that sentence because I remember this Hammer Otongo guy. He said in one video like when he runs out of his parents' money, or like in 10 years or something, he's gonna be homeless. And I think it's basically because he doesn't have like he just doesn't care enough, basically, and he doesn't really have things worth not being homeless for. Is the whole point. So I guess the whole point of this audio was just to kind of like just to talk and like you know people people in this who are part of you guys that like comment on my posts and stuff. I remember your names and everything, man. And I empathize or sympathize or whatever. We're all different, and that's what makes us the same. Is that we're all these like super unique people who live these super unique lives, I suspect, and we're surrounded in our lives by people that we can't relate to, that don't understand us, and we don't even understand other normal people. So I think it's important that we have our own sense of community. And so I guess that's why I'm making this audio. But I want to be done now because I came to the store, said that I could buy something to eat just because, not because I'm hungry, but because I want to eat something sweet and delicious. So, bye.